back to the MBM Vault live from the Media Hub on riotradio.ca. I'm your host, Abby.
And I'm Kim, and today we are here with Anne.
Woo-hoo.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. Busy day today.
This is our first on-site interview. We're so excited. We did have our little gingerbread house fiasco in one of these study rooms, but this is official this time, and there's going to be no frosting involved. So,
I mean, Alyssa's in here.
Yeah, Alyssa won't be stealing anyone's frosting this time. So, we're going to go right into it. Well, do you know any, brief explanation of the formation of the business?
I vaguely know. So I wasn't here from the very, very beginning, but I do know that a few of the execs met at a K-pop themed event, and they were kind of thinking, K-pop in Canada, it's not really as strong as it could be. There's a lot of fans, but there's not a lot of stores or events happening, and they thought, you know what, we can change that. We can start some sort of company to kind of help assist Canadian K-pop fans get more events, get more albums, get whatever their hearts desire.
I have a question for you. How did you find a job here? How did you find this job?
So, I used to be a part of TMU/Ryerson, whatever you remember it as. I used to be a part of their K-pop kind of group club type thing. Cool. And I used to make social media content for them. So I was the director of marketing/VP. And Joe, one of our CEOs, kind of contacted me because we were partners, because there was sort of a makeup company before, and they worked with the TMU K-pop. So what happened was we were involved in that, and then he's like, actually, and you're a genius. You create such good content for TMU K-pop. You know what? I'm starting an album company, and I want your talents in LIGHTUP K. I was like, well, sure. But honestly, I was really thankful at the time because I didn't know what I was going to do. I was in my last year of university, and I didn't know what to do next, really. And all of a sudden, this opportunity fell in my lap, and I was like, wow, I love K-pop, and I love creating social media content. This works out perfectly. And here I am, 2 years later. In fact, just yesterday today's the 9th, right? Yeah, so 2 years ago today, I uploaded my first TikTok to LIGHTUP K, actually. So
what a great time for us to come in. That's awesome.
2-year anniversary.
I'm in the same boat. I'm in my last semester, and after this, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be all alone.
Sometimes opportunities really do just fall into your lap when you least expect it.
So what's your day-to-day like?
My day-to-day varies greatly. We have a warehouse also in Toronto, and we have the store, which we are currently in. So when I'm at the store here, I'm usually either helping out customers, looking at albums, kind of seeing, okay, what kind of restock do we need, and even filming content here. The location is very important when filming content. Before we started the store, I used to film content in my own house, but having the background here, it really, really helps out. Although we do get a lot of comments of oh my god, your room is so amazing. You have so many K-pop albums in your room. And I'm like, yeah, we're actually a store, but it kind of creates that attention of but yeah, as for the warehouse, I do lives once a week. So I host those at the warehouse. I gather restock here for the store, just a whole handful of tasks. I just do a bunch of little things here and there. So it really varies. I'm usually either at the warehouse or the store. Yeah.
How did you become a fan of K-pop music? Or have you always just been?
I actually have this story posted on lightupk.com. If anyone's ever interested, we each kind of have a little bit about ourselves on the website, all the executive team. But back in 2012, 2013, I was into a few different K-pop songs. I liked Ring Ding Dong by SHINee.
Awesome.
I liked Fantastic Baby by Big Bang. I was obsessed with, but there was this group at the time called One Direction that was holding my focus pretty heavily, and I was like, okay, I don't have time to get into this whole other sub-genre here of K-pop, so I didn't really get into it then, but I liked a few songs. Fast forward to 2018, I was learning American Sign Language, ASL, at the time, and I saw a ASL cover of Mic Drop by BTS. I was like, oh, I heard of BTS, because at the time, they were starting to get a little bit more popular, and I watched this ASL cover, and I was like, wait, this music's really good. I really like it. This is K-pop, right? And then I started looking at more groups, and then the snowball effect just kind of happened. And then it's just oh, more groups. Oh, buying albums now. And then now I'm here today.
Oh, yours is so interesting. Mine was like, I think I was on, I couldn't sleep one night, and then suddenly I Can't Stop Me by Twice just showed up on my YouTube For You page, and now we're here. So
It really does just like sometimes just appear when you need it most. An epiphany of K-pop.
Yeah.
It's happened to me a few times too. When I go on like a tangent of just watching K-pop music videos, I'm like,
Yeah.
wait, hold on. I'll download like 4 songs. I'll be like a month later, it'll happen again and again. So I'm kind of getting into it.
It's like, oh, it's just one song. I'm not gonna get into
Yeah.
a group, and then you learn about them. They're like,
Yeah,
okay,
I'm just gonna
one
learn
group.
their names.
Yeah,
and
just
then
learn their names. Just one group. Okay,
Yeah.
just 5 groups. Okay, now I'm standing half the industry.
Yeah. It's like, you know what? It's just the whole company. It's fine. They're all under the same. It'll be fine. So, how does your personal interest help with creating social media?
I think it definitely helps a lot because as a K-pop stan myself, I've put myself into the like community of K-pop, so I kind of know what K-pop stans like and enjoy.
Right.
So whether that's through like photo cards and albums specifically, or just like, because of course being a K-pop stan, you don't have to own albums or own pieces to be a stan. Like I've always said that. Despite working for LIGHTUP K, we sell these products, but whether it's just being a fan, like having love for a group, being just like a fan girl or fan person in general, you kind of know what people like. Of course, K-pop, like K-pop fandoms, there's so many of them, and everyone does like something different, but I think we can all come together and agree on like certain things. So I try to work around that to make content.
I think this is going to go off on a little tangent here, but we, because we're in a music business course, we talk very often about how upset everyone gets about artists and streaming and all those sorts of issues. And it always, like, it's always in the back of my brain, like, physical albums. This would solve so many, like, problems within the industry of artists not getting, like, representation, money, all of that. And this is like the perfect example of how to fix this. And it takes so much in me, not in like every class, to just be like, hey guys, we need to learn from this. You need to learn how to sell physical albums for Western artists.
Yeah, I feel like so many people think like, oh, physical albums are dead. It's streaming now. Everyone streams. No one uses CDs. But I know a bunch of people, including myself, that still love buying albums but don't necessarily use the CDs. The whole album. People think, oh, album is just for the music. But K-pop has done something where it's like, it is usually a thick photo book or photo cards or stickers or things like that, where it was included in some physical albums before, but I'm hoping more Western artists kind of catch on to that, where it's like, wow, we can include, it's like a merch thing instead of just, oh, I'm buying the album to listen to the music. Yeah. But of course, if you're buying the album just to listen to the music as well, that's totally fine.
I find myself even buying like Western music now that it's like, oh, I already have CDs and I have a CD player. I might as well show more appreciation to other artists as well. And I know Taylor Swift just announced her album last weekend.
Night of the Grammys.
Yes, and I think she has photo cards in them.
Yeah.
So we'll see what that does to the Western industry.
People were like, Taylor, Nuna.
Yeah. Oh, my like entire For You page has just been jokes about that all week. So we're gonna go into the next question. If I can actually read my piece of paper. Every single episode, always forget to put my glasses on. So do you know like how the process of attaining albums for the store goes?
So we do have a few different suppliers, which cannot be revealed, unfortunately. And we kind of see what's new in the industry. We even have a request form as well. So if people ever have a specific request, they might think, oh, this artist I like is really underrated, really small. LIGHTUP K is probably not going to get it. If we see the request, we absolutely will try to get it, because we don't, of course, want to only focus on like the most popular groups. We want what people stan. So whether it's a group, soloist, whatever, like somewhere in the K-pop type industry, we do try to get that. And merch as well, so it's not like just albums. We do try to carry different merch pieces as well. We're constantly talking with a bunch of different companies, trying to get like the most possible for the best price to give to K-pop fans.
You guys are definitely good for that. I know, as you said, you showed up on my For You page one day. I think it was like, I can't even say like, it was definitely over a year ago. I can say that for sure. But I remember I was like, oh my god, that's like my dream shelf. This is amazing. And then like I saw the link in the description. I'm like, perfect. Because at that point I was like, I don't live very close to Toronto. I live like 2-ish hours away. So my options weren't great for buying albums, but they were always so expensive or like so little of them. Like there wasn't much variety. So, and then of course now I'm too close to the city and losing money constantly. So
I do hope people like understand that like we do get a lot of different requests, and sometimes we can't fulfill those requests because we don't always want to buy albums if we have to charge like a bunch for them, because we don't really think that that's fair, and people might think like, oh, why is this cost this much and this costs this much. So there are times where like it is hard to obtain, or like the price is just a little bit too much. So we really do want to focus on that. Like we can obtain it, but we're trying to get like a good price for the fans.
So I know you guys have a lot of events and stuff going on. I know as we're speaking, there's a P1 Harmony Cup sleeve going on. Yes. We've been lucky to have a very comfortable section at the store, not be full of people, but it was very busy earlier. So, so do you have anything else you know that's upcoming? Sales, events?
Well, I will say Valentine's Day is coming up.
Ooh.
Might have something for Valentine's Day. We try to be creative with our sales and not always just do like percentages off, so there might be something coming up for that. Ooh. We're approaching our 2-year anniversary of first launching online. Not like the store specifically, but near the end of this month we'll mark our 2-year anniversary of being online. So you know, it's like Light Up K's birthday, and birthdays call for celebration, so there might also be something for that as well.
Ooh.
And you're so excited, aren't you? I feel it.
We're gonna spend more money.
Maybe some deals. And we do try to sell at certain cup sleeves and event type things as well. I mean, we're hosting one here today, but also tomorrow we're celebrating IN from Stray Kids' birthday. Stray Kid. What's the plural? Stray Kids? Stray Kids is...
Stray Kids.
IN of Stray Kids is the way to go.
He has a cup sleeve event happening tomorrow, downtown Toronto. And then we're also selling at a AT's fans swap, kind of trading card type swap event. We're going to be selling there as well. So yeah, any kind of cup sleeve type events, we try to sell there as well. But yeah.
And then I know in your Montreal branch you have, what's the correct dance practice, or like dance instructors come in?
Yeah, every week we do, like it is typically every week, right? Yeah. Every week we try to gather new songs that are out and that people want to learn the dances to, but it's not always new songs. Sometimes people like older songs as well. Dance classes aren't always being taught with that, so we have a studio inside our Montreal store, kind of in the basement, that we worked very hard to build ourselves, and we made it as homey as possible. And we host dance classes there every week, or at least we try to host them every single week.
Yeah, I saw you guys were doing Mats by AT's, and then I was like, God, I wish I was in Montreal right now. Damn.
I will say, to stay up to date about like the dance classes being taught and everything, we do have a subset of Light Up K called Unite K. We have kind of like a separate sort of accounts for that, but they are connected to Light Up K. That's where we post more of those like dance classes and events and stuff, in case people want to look more into that.
And then, super exciting, you guys just had your first fan call event.
Yes. We had a fan call event with Stacy, which I think went pretty well. We sold digipacks with Light Up K exclusive photo cards, which is something that we are so insanely proud of, because almost everyone here loves photo cards to some extent, and especially collecting pre-order benefit photo cards. So having a photo card that was taken for us, even having that kind of Canadian flair with them holding up maple leaves, and you flip it around and you see Light Up K on the bottom, and you think, wow, that's a company that I'm a part of, and now we're having fan calls and having our own photo cards and stuff. And we got reviews back from people that had the fan call, and they're like, oh my God, Light Up K, I love you so much, thank you for hosting this. And we were happy to bring something here. So like people from all over the world won, but I know Canadians were especially happy because we do have free shipping if you order over $55. Sneak a bit of promo in there. But for buying the digipacks, people were really happy, because normally for fan calls you buy overseas, you spend a lot in customs and shipping and everything, and then especially if you lose the fan call, it hurts that much more.
Oh yeah, it's like, look at this lovely box full of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so that event was really successful, and we're trying our best to get even more. We even did have a fan sign event back in 2022 with Just B and Yoon Ji Sung, which also went really well as well. So we hope to have more in-person ones, more fan calls, just more events in general.
Yeah, Just B is also on the list of concerts I'm kicking myself for not going to. But
I'm sure they'll be back, hopefully. I know they're going on tour, but they skipped Canada. It's like, do we mean nothing to you?
oh, I drove all the way to Chicago for an hyphen in October, and I'm already like, did I really do that?
Did you hear about the Fate Plus tour? Sorry, you fell off topic for a
Yeah,
second.
I did.
I was still low-key hoping that they'd be.
Okay, so I have a question for you. It's kind of a hard question to answer, but what does music mean to you?
That is a very deep and broad question, but
Yes.
It's on the level of, what do you want to do with your future? And you're like, oh, okay.
Music.
I mean, music means a lot to me. I feel like music means a lot to a lot of people. I feel like to anyone who says, oh, I don't like music, they're lying. They like music in some form. Even if they don't follow it, even if they're not a fangirl, fanboy, fan person, they still like music to some extent. But for me, music definitely does hold a special place in my heart. I've loved it so much ever since I was young. Although I cannot sing or dance or play an instrument, I don't believe you have to do any of that to have a love and appreciation for music. And the fan cultures that are intertwined with music that I've become involved in, been a fangirl since I was like as long as I can remember. So I think intertwining those two and then now having it a part of my career, it's definitely a big part of my life that I want to continue for it to be a big part of my life. And I think it's really special. Helps make you happy when you're sad, helps make you sad when you're happy. Any emotion you want to feel, music's got you.
I agree completely. Did you want to ask the next question?
Yeah. So do you know what your like best-selling albums are?
Current, like, of all time, probably Maxident by Stray Kids might be our, like,
That makes sense.
number one top selling.
Such a good album.
5-star.
Oh,
5-star
also
is
such a
our,
good
is,
album.
but Maxident I'm sure is close behind. Like, Stray Kids is, like, our top selling group. Makes sense because they are very, very popular. Other
know
albums
that
that I know do sell really well currently are ATEEZ's. Where's ATEEZ? Where? ATEEZ as well.
Oh, I've never participated in buying those.
Wow,
As
the head
well
scratch.
as ZB1's Melting Point over here, which is like really amazing to see because ZB1, Zero Base One, only recently debuted, but their popularity is just like skyrocketing. And of course we have Twice as well. The Ready to Be album I know sold really, really well. And they have a new album coming out very soon, which I'm sure is going to break their Ready to Be record. But yeah, any of like the top like groups in the industry, especially hype groups in particular, usually do really popular. So New Jeans, 17, BTS, of course, like any of those groups as well. Any of their albums are really top selling.
So, what are your favorite artists, albums, songs?
So I have to say, like, my number one group is NCT, which can be a little bit of a cop-out because NCT is very broad and has a bunch of different subunits in it. But I always just tell people NCT. Oh, sorry. Okay. But yeah. I always like to tell people NCT just because there's NCT 127, there's NCT Dream, there's Wavy, and there's NCT U, which is made up of all those units. And each of them create such unique sounding music. They're all so talented. So I always say hands down, that's my number one group. I'll also always have a special place for BTS because they were my first like true K-pop group back in did I say 2018 when I was saying? Okay, good. I wasn't sure if I mentioned that specifically. In terms of girl groups, I don't know if I have like a top number one girl group, but I really love like aespa and G-Idol and IVE and ITZY as well has been climbing up my list a lot. And luckily they are coming here at the end of June, which is really great.
I meant to ask, did you get tickets?
I did. I got
that's
tickets
exciting.
for June 28th. I'm hoping to also kind of go June 29th if I can. I'm not really sure. My birthday's on June 30th. So I was kind of hoping that the second date would be on my birthday, so I could be like have my YN moment where it's like ITZY, birthday girl.
I love that.
And I have to also mention Stray Kids as well. After BTS, Stray Kids is also there. I would say like my main alts, like my favorite groups for boy groups anyway, are NCT, BTS, Stray Kids.
That's a good collection. So, favorite albums, songs?
Albums, I feel like they are constantly switching for me. I do have like, I will say like an album that I always really like love so much is Day 6's Unlock album. That's one of their like Japanese albums, and that album, every single song I'm just like obsessed with. It's so good. The song Meetings itself are really good. BTS's Love Yourself Answer and School Love Affair are also probably like my favorite.
School Love Affair.
See, I feel like no one mentioned School Love Affair,
It's
but
like
it's
my
really
second
good.
favorite BTS album, other than like The Most Beautiful Moments, which I always mess up how
Yes.
to say, part 2.
The HYYH.
Yes, that one.
But yeah, there's just, I don't know, there's so many albums. I feel like every time like a new album comes out, I'm like, this is my favorite. Now this is my favorite. Now this is my favorite. I also have to do, I know we are holding a P1 Harmony Cup Sleeve event. It sounds like I'm being biased, but P1 Harmony just released their first full album, and P1 Harmony is also one of my top groups as well. And I think their first album is incredible. Just a good listen all the way through.
Shout out to Kiho, who's from the area.
Yeah. Come back, P1 Harmony. We miss you.
So you mentioned one concert you're going to. Is there any other concerts you're going to this year?
Yes, on March the 1st, ONF are coming to Toronto specifically, and I will be going to that show. I know only one of are coming here as well. I did get the opportunity to go see them last year, and I think I might want to go this year as well, but I keep thinking in the back of my head, Stray Kids is going to announce a tour any week now, and I want to definitely save up for that, especially if they're not coming to Toronto. I will be going to New York. Please, K-pop industry, put more dates in Canada. I would really appreciate that.
I think we're getting there because both Twice and ITZY
Yeah.
have or will be going to Toronto. So I think JYP has realized that our country exists now.
So I have like a bit more hope for Stray Kids, please.
So, if I can read, is there anything else you're looking forward to? Or just anything in
I
general?
did hear that NCT Dream might be dropping a new album soon, possibly. I'm not entirely sure about that, but if they do, and I'm very excited for that, if that is happening. And I know Stray Kids is releasing, I believe, 2 new albums this year, which is really good as well.
On the topic of NCT, I just remembered this. How do you feel about UMG taking all the TikToks?
It's funny that you mentioned that because I was just looking at some of the TikToks today, and I realized one that I made about our Christmas hours, or just like holiday hours, I used Fact Check, but like a Christmas version of Fact Check, and it got like taken down, which is funny because it's a Christmas remix. It's like a holiday remix that was made by a fan, but because like the melody of Fact Check is still in there, it's like, oh no, copyrighted. But like it does suck, especially for content creators as well, because we like to use those songs to promote the, like, not just like LIGHTUP K in general, but just like K-pop, the albums that it's targeted towards. Like even in that holiday hours TikTok I made, I was holding a Johnny like digipack, so I was like promoting NCT at the same time. But if they decide to mute it, take it off, it's like, okay, well, now it's muted, now you can't promote as much as you want to, or as well as you might want to.
Yeah, I was thinking about it the other day because that's got to affect so many people, like marketing and like social media, people's jobs. Now that they have to find a way to like avoid that.
Yeah, exactly.
That makes sense. So, the question I was supposed to be asking there was, how do you stay updated with latest music trends or releases in the industry?
Social media, for sure, whether that's TikTok, Twitter/X, whatever you call it, Instagram. But Instagram, not as much. I would say like TikTok is the main, because the For You page is a very powerful thing, and it shows you just what you want. But I will also say, sometimes I have no idea comebacks are happening unless I look on our website and I see the new pre-orders and I see, oh, so-and-so's having a comeback. I like them. I had no idea, because sometimes, like, I can't catch everything. I like a lot of different groups. So when I see it for pre-order, I think that's the same with some people as well, where like they might be checking our website, just scrolling, and they're like, oh, I did not know this person was having a comeback. Maybe I should order it.
Right. I'm the same. Like I scroll through your like pre-order page so often, and it's like, oh, that's cheaper than this one. Oh, okay.
So another social media question. Have you faced any challenges in running social media, and how have you overcome them, if you have?
So 2 particular things are, number 1, the algorithm. It can be your best friend or your worst enemy, and you never fully get control of it. It's constantly changing. Every time you think you might be doing something right, the algorithm goes, you're posting at 5, too bad. You now have to post at 8 if you want to do well. So trying to keep up with the algorithm and seeing what does well and trying to innovate in the best ways you can and try to make your content go to as many people as possible is like, it's hard to do and it is definitely a challenge, but you try to work through it. And I also have to mention, like, hate comments. That sounds funny to say because it's like it makes me sound like almost like a celebrity where it's like, oh, the hate's getting to me, guys. But like, there are, like, posting your content on the internet can be a cruel place, and sometimes our videos end up on the For You page or Explore pages of people that don't like K-pop. Not only do they not like K-pop, they might be a little bit racist or they might be a little bit homophobic. And you see these comments and it's just like, you kind of remember that the internet is not always the best place, but you kind of just have to either delete the comments or just kind of ignore them. And, you know, something that's always in the back of my mind that I think people need to remember if they ever receive hate comments on something is that is boosting your video. Comments, it's an interaction of some sort, so it's boosting your video. And you know what? Those people that are commenting those mean things, they're going to get more content like that on their For You pages or on their Explore pages because these social media platforms see, hey, this person must like this content. They're commenting on it. So, you know what sucks for them? If you hate K-pop so much, guess what? A bunch more K-pop videos are coming your way.
So how do you guys are really good at this, but how do you foster like a sense of community on your social media pages?
I think relatability to remember. Okay. I think relatability plays a huge factor in it. I know, like, as kind of like I was saying earlier, like, as K-pop fans, there are certain things you can relate to, such as, like, one of our top performing videos is one where it's talking about when your friend pulls your bias and, like, is not giving it to you. Like, everyone kind of relates to that if you have a friend that likes K-pop and they pull, like, your favorite member in their album. So trying to kind of stay on top of that relatability, making it broad but not too broad. So it's like you're trying to find that niche of, like, K-pop fans, but you don't always want to make it specific to fandoms. You almost kind of want to create content that can be a bit wider. But of course, like, targeting fandoms as well, like, you are hitting that niche as well, which people will like. But I think, like, relatability is the key factor. Like, try to make, like, of course, like, promote products, like, I try to promote, like, LIGHTUP K in general, but I also like to foster the community in ways of, like, try to make relatable content, or, like you were talking about with the Montreal dance classes, like, bring people not only into the store but have them learn a dance to a group. I mean, I forgot to mention this with the dance classes as well, is that we don't put pressure on people. You don't need to be some, like, top dancer in order to take these classes. You can be, like, very, very beginner and just say, you know what, I want to dance and I like this song. You're more than welcome. So, and even the events we host as well, come by the events, get a cup sleeve, like the P1 Harmony one. We're giving away the cup sleeves for free. You don't have to buy anything. Just, like, bringing them in and having people say, oh, I relate to that, or I like that.
I think my favorite video recently is the JYP one.
The JYP one.
Very good. I think that one it took off.
Yeah, that one went,
so
like,
good.
semi-viral. Like, I think it has 5 million views on Instagram and, like, almost 4.5 or maybe even 5 million on TikTok as well. And I think the reason why that one went viral is because it is about K-pop, but it also just relates to, for, like, context, basically this this guy that's very popular in, like, the K-pop world. He did a performance of Sweet Dreams, and basically he had this dark makeup on his eyes that was kind of all smudged and blurry, and I thought, oh, that looks like he just had makeup on his eyes and rubbed his eyes. Let me kind of poke a bit of fun at that to say, oh, that's what looks like it happened. That's what looks like happened to him. And all of a sudden, people that aren't K-pop fans were still liking and sharing that content because they relate to that, oh my gosh, I wear eye makeup and I hate when I forget that I'm wearing eye makeup and rub my eyes. So all of a sudden, LIGHTUP K is being promoted to even non-K-pop fans just because, again, that relatability factor is, like, put into the video itself.
Yeah, I remember the day you posted it. I think we were probably in the store that day, and we're like, oh, look, post another TikTok. And then we looked at it, and then we went back, like, 2 days later, we were like, oh my god, it has how many views?
Even an idol like that, Alexa.
Really?
Alexa.
Oh,
I saw that Alexa
her.
liked it, and I was like, oh my gosh, Alexa saw me act like JYP. Like, that's just such a funny thing to think about.
That's awesome. I'm so happy for you guys about that. So can you share, like, what hashtags you think work really well on your posts?
For sure, I always try to put hashtag K-pop store and K-pop shop. Because, like, I don't always try to use one or the other, because sometimes people are searching up different things. And, like, to create good, like, search engine optimization, you kind of need, like, different hashtags of what you think people might search up. So K-pop shop and K-pop store are always there. I know from past trading and selling of photo cards that I used to do, that often saying the group and then sale, or the group and then WTS, so like want to sell or things like that. Yeah. Occasionally I'll throw those in because people are looking at that. So if we're selling P1 Harmony albums, doing hashtag P1 Harmony sale, people might be looking at that thinking like, oh, I want to see photo cards or possible albums. They might find us from that. So kind of taking those experiences and like injecting those in, but then also keeping an open mind as to like what are people gonna search.
What social media platforms do you think are the most effective for reaching K-pop fans?
Most likely TikTok. I have found that, like, even though our content does perform a little better on Instagram, I do find like TikTok is good for reaching people's For You pages more, because I do know on Instagram people often scroll in their feed and they might look a little bit at their explore pages, like, but I feel like for TikTok it's like you immediately go to your For You page. You're immediately being introduced to different content every single time you go on. You're not always checking your following all the time. You're purposely going on it to find new content. So I find with like TikTok, it's a good way to reach a lot of people who may have never heard of Light Up K, whether they're Canadian, American, Japanese, I don't know, like in the world, basically.
And you guys do ship worldwide, right?
Yes, we do ship worldwide. Something that I do always promote is that we do have like free shipping at like every stage. It does depend, like different order amounts to hit that free shipping mark, but we do try to make things as affordable as possible and get people, because like one of our main reasons for starting up Light Up K is that like, oh, shipping fees and customs can be kind of heavy. Of course, customs is not something we can always like control, so like of course it depends on the country, but we always try to make our shipping as affordable as possible when we, as the control we have over it isn't as strong as we'd like hope it could be, but we keep hoping shipping costs will go down just in general.
I agree. Could you share a memorable experience of interacting with people online and how it's like influenced your social media approach?
Interesting. I do remember a post that was made a little while back where it was basically the whole trend of like good night to K-pop stan edition. So I was kind of like listing off different things, or it's this whole trend where it's like good night to, and then you list off different facts about a very broad facts, and then people basically put their fingers down to say like, oh, like it's like a never have I ever kind of thing. And I saw that from that people were posting their own content to say like, oh, like some of the things I said is like you collect photo cards, you're over the age of 20, or just like little things like that. And so I saw the community using my sound and my voice, well, Light Up K sound, but like my voice, to say like things that they like and things that they related to. So interacting in that way, it's kind of like, okay, so this is what people like. Oh, I see a lot of people collect photo cards, a lot of people like that. I tried to make the things as relatable as possible while still also trying to find that niche a little bit as well. Yeah.
Do you find engaging with fans is something you like doing? Like you do it often and you do it like kind of on a scheduled basis almost?
And usually, yeah, I do like check the comments like as frequently as possible. If anyone has any questions about orders or just upcoming events or anything like that, like I do like interacting with that section. Of course, we also get a lot of messages like on social media asking about different things, requesting things, and I say like not just me, I'm not the only person that does it. We do have a team of like answering emails and different social media things, and we really try to be on the ball and answer as quickly as possible. So in that way, like interacting in that way, I do. And of course, I always do like it when people share our content, either post it on their story, stitch the video, duet the video, as long as it's in like positive terms. But I know it's not always positive, but that's something, it's the internet, you know, it's something you have to deal with either way.
Are giveaways something you say you would do to try to engage with fans, or is that something you guys do? Yes,
we host a lot of giveaways actually. We try to like at least once a month. Basically, we do a live once a week, and we open albums. And at the end of the month, we host what we call our Luck Live giveaways. Luck standing for Light Up K. And we host one on Instagram and one on TikTok. So people just basically follow us, comment what their favorite album is, and then tag someone. in their comment, and they just have to be 15 plus, living in Canada or the US, and they can win a bunch of albums that have inclusions for free. And I think a lot of people might be used to giveaways where it's like a singular album or a singular artist, but I think we're like kind of changing the game a little bit, where it's like, here's a bunch of different groups that you can win for free, shipping's covered, everything's covered. You're getting like a good amount of albums, usually anywhere from like 5 to 8 albums, and yeah, they might be open, but the inclusions are all still inside. And if you didn't watch each one of those Luck Lives, you kind of see, oh, like it still might be a surprise to who you pull.
Yeah.
But we also do giveaways for like concert tickets. We're hoping to maybe host an ITZY one if we can. But usually like big concerts like coming to Toronto, we do, or even Montreal, we try to host ticket giveaways for that, and sometimes just random other giveaways sprinkled here and there, which definitely creates what?
Stacey fan
For the Stacey, kind of going back to the fan call thing a bit as well, we did host, like, you could enter for free. And I think there definitely were some people that won the fan call even, and they got a free entry, which was pretty amazing. So yeah, so they didn't, I think they were...
All right, and we're reaching our last couple of questions. So I know you guys do a weekly chart post. If you want to talk about that, your sold albums.
Yes, so we do these things once a week, posted on Mondays, called the Luck Chart. So the Luck Chart is basically just reflecting sales from our shop. It's just basically the top selling albums of that week. It typically switches up every week. Doesn't necessarily have to be new albums. Sometimes we get a restock of a certain album where there's a particular version that we don't necessarily get that often, and a lot of people rush to buy that version. That album could end up on the Luck Chart, which doesn't necessarily happen all that often, or like in general on charts. You don't always see like these older albums reappearing. You get it from time to time, but I feel like with the Luck Chart, like it can really bring in new albums. And I will say that there is sometimes underrated artists as well. A lot of people might think, oh, it's going to be the same big artist, but we do have like the odd like underrated artist appear there as well. And who knows? I don't have proof of this, but some people might be like, oh, I've never heard of so and so before. Let me go check them out. Might have a new fan right there just because we posted about that. So yeah, it's basically just the top selling albums that aren't pre-orders. I should mention that as well. We don't count pre-orders towards that or merchandise. It's just albums only, the top selling albums of that week.
And then I know all of your sales count towards two charts, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have the Hanto chart and the Billboard chart. Of course, Billboard is not available like everywhere, but I believe for the Billboard charts in Canada and the US. Yeah, so for Canada, for Billboard, for Canada and the US, if you were living in those countries and the album gets shipped to where you are living, it will count. If you live in the US Billboard, Canada, Canadian Billboard chart, which is pretty great, and especially helps out with like, we don't always have the album in the first week necessarily. We do try to, but sometimes our albums do count towards first week sales, but even going forward as well, we have the Billboard charts continue.
Awesome. So that's all the questions we have for today. Thank you for having us. Remember, you can watch us on riotradio.ca, and you can find us on Instagram at MBM Vault. And
I will say, if you want to check out Light Up K, our website is lightupk.com. All our social media is at Light Up K Shop. We're on all of the major social media platforms, Twitter/X, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube as well. So check us out at Light Up K Shop.
awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
See you guys next week.